Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Nsaka program. My name is Himba as your host, and my co-host this evening it's Lancy Sanibanda. We welcome you to Nsaka once again. We made a date last week that we'll be back with the summary of remarrying over. The topic it's on property and children, but this time today we are dealing with a legal personnel. By the way, Lance, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Himba. It's great to be here, great to be back, and looking forward to a nice deliberation as well as a lovely good evening to our viewers.
So natabe muntu uli wonse yokufuna property kainge mvuta imwe kainge vindu kulisha ma property yave kamba bwino apa sinakuona maningi wenze kuti
ife tinakwatira nkhani yakutira njere instead yokwatira nomo vaneba boda bwachenje following day mundu apyanga payadi vabofunsa niwandari, oh, this is my wife kulibe nkhani ya property.
Well, viewers, thank you so much. Over to you, Lance.
All right, thank you so much, and it's good to have you, our lovely viewers, on this particular platform or on this very program. This is Nsaka. We apologize for bringing it a little bit late. This is due to the special interview that which we had, which we thought that it was of serious public concern as we're talking about the general security of the country. But hey, we said stinga siye kuti Nsaka isankaleko. Nsaka should be there, and we should get to deal with marital statuses. We should get to deal with nkani za miyambo or nkani za mwambo, as my father Mkleva likes putting it, at miyambo ni miyambo. But hey, it's mwambo and not miyambo. But anyway, it's good to have you, and we really appreciate. Sorry, Himba, you were saying something?
Nafuno kamba nanga ikankala prulo nikukamba bwanji prulo. If it is prulo, what do you say?
We'll research on that one. Well, so all right, so like you can see, we have continued with remarriage. This is our topic of discussion, and this is a third summarizing remarriage. Now, last week we were talking about children and property. So bana mwe mwapeza mchikwati okapena bana we mwenda nayo mchikwati mutilingana nayo bwanji jankani ndiye nkani omwetenzo kambapo last week, koma siku ya lero tifuna manje tiangane on a legal point of view, okapena tiangane palamulo ilankhula tiani, ilankhula bwanji kuti iyai ngati we ulina mwana ulina bana okapena wenda mu chikwati cha number 2 cha number 3 cha number 4 ufuniko enda tiani ofuniko enda bwanji ngevo mweti kambapo lero kodi lamulo ilankhula bwanji. Himba, you help me with this other language. How do you say it in local language?
You want Nancy? Cancer, welcome to the program.
Thank
Cancer, you are muted.
Yes, I've heard the topic, the issue about remarriage and how do you deal with properties where one has remarried. For instance, where the husband or the wife died, and then you want to remarry, or indeed where you went to court and divorced, and then you want to marry. So how do you treat those properties? How do you treat children? Those children who have whom you have brought into that particular family. So the starting point is that we have got two marriages in Zambia. There is customary marriage and also the marriage under the act.
Just a little bit before you go further, just hold your thoughts. Please tell us about yourself briefly.
Okay.
And so, who are you?
Oh,
Where do
okay.
you find you? Why are you called?
My name's okay. So my name's Mianda Banda. I am a legal practitioner, and I resigned yes from judiciary. I'm a former local court magistrate. I worked in the local court from 2012 up to 2020, when I resigned, when I was actually admitted to the bar.
Oh.
And before that, I worked for Bank of Zambia in 1988 up to 94 when they brought in bureau de change. We were retrenched. I'm also an accountant by profession, so I worked for Twikatane Farm Products as an internal auditor, and then thereafter I went and joined the Chirupe and Permanent Chambers as an assistant to a lawyer, and later I joined judiciary until I resigned in 2020. That's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council, and it's nice to have you once again to the program. We are joined with Uncle Jay. Uncle Jay, welcome to the program. And please say hi to the viewers. Uncle Jay, you are muted. It seems we've lost Uncle Jay. We'll get back to Council. Council, please go ahead.
Yes, so as I was saying, there are two types of marriages in Zambia. There's a marriage under the Act, and then there's customary marriage. The common law marriage, it is not applicable in Zambia. That is a British type of marriage. So we have only two types of marriages. So the definition of marriage under customary marriage is that it is a contract which is a man and a woman based on the customary law of the parties or one of the parties. So if I'm marrying a Tonga lady, we may agree that yes, let's use our custom and also maybe her custom, or because I'm on the living end, they may say the custom which is applicable will be the Tonga custom. So that is customary marriage. And then the marriage under the Act, Cap 50, as defined by Lord Benzans, under the of Hyde vs. Hyde, in 1966 case, it defines marriage as a voluntary union life between one man and woman to the exclusion of all others. So meaning if you bring another, you might, well, the marriage is subsisting, then the people keep in section 6, bigamy. So you cannot during the subsistence of that marriage. This marriage certificate gotten from civics. So if now the parties decide divorce, for instance, to dissolve that marriage, under customary marriage, they will go to local court. If you married an act, you go to high court. And they will look at the which this person will adjust. There are about 5 factors, but the round under which the marriage under the Act can be dissolved by the court, where the marriage is broken down irretrievably. So the party should now produce one of the factors like adultery, desertion for 2 years, desertion for 2 years with consent, separation for 2 years, separation for 2 years with consent, separation for 5 years, and also reasonable behavior. So these factors, you can simply point to one factor or to three or all of them. If you can, then the court grant divorce. That is in the court. However, the one and local court, the are so many, you use any ground divorce. You can say maybe this man is a drunkard, or he has failed to give me children. He does not, you see, in the conjugal rights. So any ground which you can adduce in the court, the grant divorce. Now, once you have been given, once the court has granted divorce, then that is free to marry. Now, come to the point of our topic, remarry.
Seem to be having connectivity challenges right there with Banda. At this point, or at this juncture, let's to see if we can welcome other guests that we have right here. Ruth, hi, good evening. How are you today?
I'm okay. See, good evening to you. Good evening, Eva and Uncle Jay. Good evening, viewers of Two Family.
All right. Thank you. It's good to have you in our presence. Very worried that we are 3 men and one lady, but as you've come to her rescue.
You shouldn't be him as well covered. And she's the woman of steel, this one. Chimbishi.
Himba, you are dead.
Baruthi, welcome, my sister.
Thank you very much. I'm just preparing myself. I'll be coming with my face very soon.
Brilliant. Now I can see at ichupa chiri cha certificate nkamulyawe kulikuleta gobambi.
Kwena dawa patule sambi.
Yobwije kumbire umfwa.
The network goes well, so we hear from the council.
That's the two of us.
The marriage for Lance is not making, is not marriage in Zambia.
No. It's not all. So I wish if you want to.
For sure. And she's claiming and giving thanks to the Lord. And she's lying.
Thank Uncle Jay to rescue these women would have put me on the cross. Uncle Jay, good evening. I was the only man here. Uncle Jay, are you here with us? Okay, it looks like the persecution continues. Okay. Good evening. How are you doing today?
Well, thanks. How are you? Who is persecuting you for crying out loud? Let's find out what's happening.
Hello,
women.
No, it's
Hello. The problem is ukala kwa lo ikabira tibira ni lo
waweka mama kama
unanzai.
No, you know, all of the men you deserted me here, and 2 women took me on. They persecuted you.
It's the law that persecuted you. We've just the definition of marriage.
That's why it's about to be a man. Tamamuna. Uncle Jericho, good
Okay.
evening.
Good evening, CJ. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Himba, good evening.
Good evening, Susan. Good evening, Uncle Jay.
Evening, Ruth.
Good evening, CJ.
Ilwekile kosovera je kulituma nkani kawama hapa and we feel back like you.
Kukoloke chene kuko in Jesus' name is a good.
This is why I'm saying you people persecuting me. Why should you bring back what happened in the past? Let's move forward.
No, we're just talking about the law, the act of marriage in Zambia.
At what chapel it's not worth it, Lance.
That's
Muleke
why
mwana
1,000 divorces. Shansha can't even watch the divorce like I don't know what Can you imagine?
You know, I know.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Anje. Anje.
Please, Uncle Jay.
Okay. Nekalero.
Network.
Just yeah, you are this ganged up against me. Do you think that my marriage is not marriage? Dr. Angele Mundu wakuisa cheko neba swafungo zoti njia yanaku. Mungako ino time ino 22 wamukuisa dabo nja ninga yeba pyanga pasina baone kwa
Mubweze mwana bene. Sila.
Our Tanzania definitions.
The
It
network
looks like Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay, yeah.
Okay. He's gone again. But anyway, let's get on a serious note. We know there are two types of marriages. Obviously, the act marriage, as Council Banda had put, and also Nkanyam traditional marriages. Munga mweke bambili 54 kai, you know.
Because now men are kulipira manyumba as to feed, because now this gender is becoming a problem. Lazy to look after women, being lazy to take up their responsibility.
That's the thing.
When they're even putting it in a better term, no, we are cohabiting. What is?
Can you imagine? I can't even name my cohabiting. What's that?
but okay. Let's be fair here. Be fair. This issue of Kenya marriage. Let's say, for example, with all the financial struggle that I have, and then I come, Ruth, you charge me 30 pin for your daughter. Then your 30 pin after kulipira naye bwera na mood swings yake.
Don't
you think palingani achitechi hapa?
Yes, go ahead.
Uncle CJ, I think a man should just be a man, even married.
Actually, let's honestly, while we are waiting for counsel, let's talk about this issue of cohabiting. It's becoming common, and the men are cohabiting. Uncle Jay, hope you are with us now. It's not about moon. If you've missed one deal, okay, abakazi maenda kuka panga, but kambili ndo paki nganje tumachola tujanya mlafulu baenda kujimu hamuna na mataenda kujimu ango tunja pagono it's become common.
They marry just like that.
Hapa wakamupisha atantu futi aina futi hapa. Sorry. So, Lance, no, we are not. I'm not asking Jay. It's my concern. Why is it that it has become so common now that this cohabiting is becoming normal? In this cohabiting, in most cases it's not bakazi kugenda kwa mwamuna kambiri beba pezeka balibe nyumba beba bagona mu sitting room niba maenda ku manyumba y'abakazi anyamula kabanja kabagi hivi ka Jordan mama kusogula kajaenda ku gym anyamula every day kaza aenda kuli madam pangira malo maningi nyumba esi yake mwamuna. Why is cohabiting becoming normal?
To explain. Then was you at part of the marriage, but you know, the woman thinks no things I'm cooking and stuff like that without knowing that this brain is just there in the job waiting. Even though there isn't enough evidence, the fact that there was a sitting, agreements were made. Those are agreements, and even kids have been to pass already.
It can't be proved in the courts if we want divorce.
Just Nancy, just to add to what we're saying.
When it's to divorce, then there's no guy to court for divorce. And then
but the thing is, as long as the two families sat together, and that was a marriage, Lance.
Yeah.
That is a marriage, an agreement there. Yeti kamba niye manya mulatu mabagi fruenda ku gym mwena kambira ku gym problems, but where the two families got together and bavomera to kwenze damage kwa chachali chachikwati kwamene kuja ndaba kuchajali kumanga. We have so back. So welcome to the program.
Unfortunately, this technology is disappointing us. The net is so bad here.
Hello, Mwati Pabuino.
I think I just want to chip in on my sister or talk about damage and also marriage. I just want to chip in on that. And also that maybe you just agreed at home and then people may say this and that, that it was not marriage, it was divorce. So the starting point is, you see, Chikwat in Zambia, it is measured by the issue of one paying dowry. That is what we should bear in mind. Chikwat,
Okay.
for it to be called marriage, dowry must be paid. So it will be called a marriage. But where dowry has not been paid, there's been charged, but has not been paid, or it was not charged, and these people proceeded to start living together, that is not marriage. Simply cohabiting. That is a common law marriage, Yaku England, which is not applicable here in Zambia. So you should know that these people, whether they have stayed together for 60 years, and their children and grandchildren, as long as dowry was not paid, that is not marriage in the eyes of Zambian law. Okay? Then secondly, the issue of damage must be separated from marriage. Now, damage is breaking the virginity of a girl who has never slept with another man. That's all. That is the definition of damage. Okay? So, whether this girl I slept with, who is a virgin, does not is not pregnant, still they can charge me damage. So damage is not pregnancy, no. That's simply evidence that there was sex. It's simply another evidence to show that truly I slept with this person. But whether I slept with this person and there's no pregnancy, still they can charge me damage because I've broken the virginity of that girl. Okay? So those two must be separated. So if I break the virginity of a girl, that is not marriage, it is damage.
So if a teen Tabana is still qualified to be damaged.
And me, I'm the second person, I cannot be charged damage. Okay? So now the issue of marriage, where you marry at home, you see, of course there will be witnesses. A marriage need not to have a certificate. No. If somebody is marrying my niece, I'll be caught. I'll charge that person. And that person will not come alone. He will come with a representative. So those are witnesses who will say, yes, money. You see, exchanged hands. So that constitutes a marriage. Just like when I come to your house to do this work, you don't tell me to sign, but you pay me. If you pay me, I'll go to court and say, it work here. So you cannot hide behind and say, no, in a sign land. But did he come to work? Yes, he worked. So what is that? So there's oral contract. So even the marriage, so don't measure it by a certificate. No. So measure it with the exchange of cattle. I gave 2 cattle. I was told to pay 2 cattle. But we didn't sign anywhere. And these cattle were received by the uncle of the girl. So they cannot turn around and say, but this person, why did you receive these cattle? Why did you charge him? You see, all that.
But Council Banda, can I?
The topic left was about remarry. So remarry, now there are 2 sides of a coin. Remarry is where we divorced, and then I proceed to marry again. I divorced with Mary, and then I proceed to marry Jane. That is the marriage. Or indeed, I divorced Jane. The court divorced me and Jane, Mr. Banda, divorce is granted by the court. I can still remarry Jane. Okay? Now, then it is dowry. Whether it is the same person I'm marrying, I have to pay the second dowry. I cannot use the old dowry. Just like if I'm working for Zesco and I'm paid my benefits, which I worked for 10 years, and they've given me. So if they want me back because of maybe my expertise, I'll go into a new contract And when I work for 2 years, they cannot tell me that we already paid you. No, that was a different contract. So even the issue of remarriage is also under the same principle. Because it is the same person, but there's a divorce certificate which was granted by the court. And therefore, if I want to remarry this person, I will have to go through another ceremony. So they have to recharge me. I cannot bank on the previous one, because the previous one, there's a bridge which was there. It was cut. So that is remarry now. So now what happens to the properties which we actually, if for instance, Mary divorces John, and then John and Mary remarries after 2 years or after 3 months. Are we together?
Yes,
Can you get me?
we are following.
Okay. So if the same people remarry, those properties which they had in the first marriage, remember, the court ordered that, for instance, they share half-half. For argument's sake, if we had 2 houses and the court orders that I get the house in Libala and then my wife gets the house in Kablonga, and the 2 months down the line, I remarry and we go through the same process, I paid dowry. They even say, no, Kayuyu, so I pay. That is the second marriage. Now, if you want to divorce, we cannot actually bring those 2 properties into the equation. Those are subject of the former judgment. So we only share properties which we acquired together during subsistence of the marriage. So
We are listening.
properties we are shared
We are listening.
during the subsistence of the first marriage, we cannot share them because we'll come with them in the second marriage. So judgment which was given, we only share those properties which we have acquired during that short period or that second marriage. That's how it is. Thank you.
But counsel, don't you think somehow the law there has got a lapse? Because if, yes, we divorce and then maybe we come back for a remarriage, it means it's a new contract. Don't you think somehow there the law is being unfair to the man for them to, first of all, kulipira futi dowry ya new, then inkania sharing if there's another divorce looming or coming about, kulipe kupendera kovija kaya zabwera na vaki, so tipovikira pamozi, the two shall be one, tipovikira pamozi, then tiftafuti na recount in the second divorce.
Well, you see, the law, it depends on which side you look at it. For the law, there's no draw. That's one thing you should know. If a person is acquitted, for example, a criminal case, he will celebrate. But the other party will feel injured. And always they will attack the law that this law is not okay. But if this person is convicted, the other person will be happy, and the one who is convicted will seem not to be happy and say the law is not fair. Okay? Now, coming to your question where you're saying, you see, these particular properties, don't you think that it is not fair where these properties you brought them and then you don't want to share? You see, the law looks beyond what we think. Okay? Because people can use the law to deprive others. In Zambia, we don't have a community of property. A community of property where I know Jane is rich. She has got 5 houses. Imagine that situation. And then I married Jane with the purpose that when we stay only 3 months, I'll ask the court to divorce so that we share those properties. Now, me, I haven't come with anything. You see, I should not use the law as an engine to defraud others. No. So I marry Jen, who has got 6 houses already and is working, is a banker, has got money in the account, and then me, I'm simply John Soriowali, and then I marry this person. And then after 2 years, I say, no, let's divorce. And then I rush to court, say that we want to share these properties. I don't think it's fair, because the law will be opening a way for crooks to be milking innocent people's properties. So that's why the law is clear that you only share the property which you have acquired together during the subsistence of the marriage. During the subsistence of the marriage. Period. So the law there is very, very fair. That is
okay. Thank you so much, Council. What about now? We are talking about where death occurred. The husband lost a wife, and the wife lost the husband, and there are children now involved. What happens? And even in a case where the other partner, again, the second partner gets to pass on, what happens, and how do the children benefit in such a situation or arrangement?
Okay, so I'm sure maybe you can paraphrase your question, because you are saying this person died, maybe the man died, and the widow has got children, and this widow remarries. That's the question?
Yes, and they both come in with children and property. Both sides, they have children
so
and property.
The properties. So my wife dies, I've got 2 houses, I've got 2 children. And then I'm a widower. I marry the widow also, who has got maybe say 5 farms and also say 3 or 4 children.
Yes.
So she has come with those properties. I've come with those properties. So if we bore children in marriage, if we bore children in that marriage, and we acquire those properties during subsistence of the marriage, the catch will be these children whom I came with, you see, whom I came with, me as a man, and that lady, her children will be deemed as dependents. You see what the problem is? But for me, the children I came with as a man, regarding those particular properties which were acquired in that particular marriage, those children, they all have to share. So not her children, but my children as a man. But those properties which we brought into that marriage, my children cannot have a share in the properties of the widow, and neither can the widow's children whom she came with can have a share in the properties which I came with. They are not part and parcel of that particular new marriage, if at all we divorce.
Okay. So which means,
so if at all those children want to benefit from the properties which were acquired, then those children should be adopted. If they are not adopted, then they become dependents in those properties.
okay. So what about now in your new marriage?
Clear. Sorry?
Yes, Council. I think you've made yourself clear, but I think I would love you to come again on that point. I'd love you to come in again on that point.
Which point? On which properties?
On properties which we've come with from our previous relationships.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In Zambia, unless maybe in South Africa, in Zambia we don't have community of property. Community of property, meaning if if I marry today, for the first time, for instance, I've never married. I've married a lady, and the situation where I say, no, I'm a banker. First, I'll marry when I buy 5 houses. So I buy 5 houses. I bought 2 cars. If I marry a lady, and this person said, no, I'll marry a villager, because the Nsaka women are very clever. So I marry a villager. I bring her home. When we divorce, at the time of divorce, she cannot claim those properties which I bought before that marriage. But in a certain jurisdiction, that particular property, that particular property, when we divorce, we're talking about divorce. When we divorce, she can claim, okay? She cannot claim those particular properties because we have a community of property. In South Africa, when we I believe in that jurisdiction, when I come with those properties and we're divorcing, we have to share. But I bought them before, in fact, I married this lady. But in Zambia, no. Okay. But now the only catch where this particular lady may benefit or where the man may benefit is at the time of death. At the time of death, if I die, leaving those 7 properties which I bought before marriage, they form part of my estate. So the widow will have a share according to Intestate Succession Act if I did not leave a will under Section 60 of the Wills Act. Have you seen the difference? There's the other one, there's death. The other one, there's just a normal divorce. So under normal divorce, we cannot share. But under death, if she, for argument's sake, if my mother died or my parents died, it means
in a customary marriage,
and Kwacha was not happy with that particular verdict. There, if now, yes, you have brought in the second wife. Maybe you have stayed. So I don't know whether you are saying I should divorce one. You want to divorce one, or you want to divorce all of them? What is the question?
Once only now.
Which is which? Sorry?
Because you are Tonga at the same.
On the properties which were acquired, then those children should be adopted. If they are not adopted, then they become dependents in those properties.
Okay. So what about now in your new marriage?
Clear. Sorry?
Yes, Council. I think you made yourself clear, but I think I would love you to come again on that point. I'd love you to come in again on that point.
Which point? On which properties?
On properties which we've come with from our previous relationships.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In Zambia, unless maybe in South Africa, in Zambia we don't have community of property. Community of property, meaning if I marry today for the first time, for instance, I've never married, I've married a lady, and the situation where I say, no, I'm a banker, first I'll marry when I buy 5 houses, so I buy 5 houses, I bought 2 cars. If I marry a lady, and this person say, no, I'll marry a villager, because these Nsaka women are very clever. So I marry a villager. I bring her home. When we divorce, at the time of divorce, she cannot claim those properties which I bought before that marriage. But in certain jurisdiction, that particular property, that particular property, when we divorce, we're talking about divorce. When we divorce, she claim, okay? She cannot claim those particular properties because we have a community of property. In South Africa, when I believe in that jurisdiction, when I come with those properties and we're divorcing, we have to share. But I bought them before, in fact, I married this lady. But in Zambia, no. Okay. But now the only catch where this particular lady may benefit or where the man may benefit is at the time of death. At time of death, if I die, leaving those 7 properties which I bought before marriage, they form part of my estate. So the widow will have a share according to Intestate Succession Act if I did not leave a will under Section 60 of the Wills Act. Have you seen the difference there? There's the other one, there's death. The other one, there's just a normal divorce. So under normal divorce, you cannot share. But under death, if she, for argument's sake, if my mother died or my parents died, I did not have any child, no dependents, it means 3/4 of the share will go to that widow. Notwithstanding these properties, I acquired them before marriage.
Council, thank you so much. What about in a situation here?
Of those properties, for argument's sake, after I die, and she remarries, still the new husband cannot claim those properties. Cannot claim those properties because so that new husband cannot have any share whatsoever. They only share the properties which they will acquire in that new marriage.
What about in the case of the council?
It's quite confusing.
When you're marrying the second wife, you got the first. What about if you mwaletamu mpali, mwaletamu wa number 2, tankala for 10 years, then after 10 years wamuna wangata waina maningi nifuna okwatira winangu.
May I just chip in before Council goes ahead and gives the legal analysis?
Please go ahead, Vomkelebai.
Sorry to interrupt.
So you're saying if you marry another wife, and then what happens? You divorce?
Oh, okay. Vomkelebai just a bit. Inesi mumpali.
Is
get
it
you?
me?
Where
Can
you
you repeat yourself?
you are not divorcing the first wife. You've lived with the first wife maybe for 10 years. Then you decide to say, okay, I want to marry the second wife. There's no divorce, there's no death. Ulefa fyo kupe mpali. Ni mpali, manje ufuna mpali. What happens is the property you acquired before you married the second wife.
There, if now, yes, you have brought in the second wife. Maybe you have stayed. So I don't know whether you are saying I should divorce one. You want to divorce one, or you want to divorce all of them? What is the question?
Once you now.
Which is which? Sorry?
Kemi Jatavadara Ionkani, because you are Tonga at the same time you are Bem, you are Banda, and I'm like,
No. It is just okay. You see, I don't know, but I haven't got the question very, very well.
no, her question was if you were,
Talking about where
her question
I
was
marry
if
the
you're
second wife.
polygamous.
The first wife is old, and then now during time of divorce, of course, the court has to.
No, there's no
take into
divorce
account
there.
that,
No divorce counsel. You are marrying the second wife.
if it is death, I died as a man, and I left a lot of cattle. I think the court will take into account the number of years this person has come into this marriage. So the first wife will benefit more than the second wife. I think that's the position of the law under Intestate Succession Act.
No,
So
in an event where somebody dies.
Okay. And even I think even the issue of divorce. You see, the laws sometimes you look at how much each party contributed. Okay, you'll find this person has been there in the marriage for many years, and the other one just came into this marriage just maybe 3 years, and the other one has been in this marriage. The first wife, say 15 or 20 years, and we want to go for divorce. The starting point is even just one wife. You see, where we had only one house, the court cannot say we share half. I think that would be unfair, because they have to look at how much each has contributed towards that. Okay, if you look at the case of Chiwe versus Chiwe 2000, it's a very celebrated case. You see that Mr. Chiwe, Rosemary Chiwe, and the other gentleman, I've just forgotten the first name, Chiwe versus Chiwe 2000. So this man had a lot of companies in Copper Belt. Okay, so when they went to court, the local court granted a divorce. I think she was given about 25,000 kwacha. She was not happy with that particular verdict. He appealed to subordinate court. Subordinate court added something there. High Court, she was of course carrying the day. High Court again added, I think it's the House. She appealed to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, Mr. Chiwe, knowing that now this woman is carrying the day, started, you see, changing the companies into his brothers and sisters' names and all that. And the court had to go further and lift the veil to check who are the owners of these companies. It was found that they were for Mr. Chiwe. And the court proceeded to share those properties, but they did give Mrs. Rosemary Chiwe equal to Mr. Chiwe, because the amount which Mr. Chiwe contributed, I believe, was more than the other. So they did not go for 50-50 as the British Watchdale versus Watchdale case, which we used to use some time back. So they did not go for 50-50, but she was given substantial property. So even this question which you are asking, They cannot say because this person has just come 3 months, then they should give her equal to the first wife. I think the court is also fair. They're they're learned and they know all those things, so they cannot go into that direction.
Councillor Banda, thank you so much for being elaborating. At this time, let me allow Mukeleva to come through and obviously ask a question, share a view, or express a comment. Mukeleva, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. It's good to have at least have a legal analogy on all these issues that we believe in, especially the customary law that we have embraced as a country. And we always forget that our customary laws are not written anywhere. And our customary laws are the ones that permits a Tonga man to have more than 10 wives, like King whatever, Muswati, whatever you call him. Customary law does allow those things, and we do enjoy those rights. And the law in Zambia provides that we have a dual legal system. Unfortunately, the inherited law that we inherited from these British colonials carries the day. Most of our customary laws are purported to be repugnant to natural justice, and then the law that we have that is written carries the day. So that's why we have these conflicts among our citizenry, especially those citizenry who are not so much conversant with what is at stake. When we talk about marriage, yes, we have 2 types of marriages or 3 types of marriages in our country. Either you marry under customary law, that is where you can just pick someone and elope someone, and it is considered a marriage in our customary law. But with a statutory marriage, which is civil marriage, you have to go through the normal channels where you go civic center, mwaenda mwasaina na mapepa, but then bachita bwanji was ceremonize makupa sign na marriage certificate. Okay, that is the statutory marriage. And when it comes to divorces, vimapu sana. Muli statutory marriage. Muja mumafunikira kuti walangiza reasons. You give reasons to show that this marriage has broken down irretrievably, that you can never bring back this marriage. Kwasila. But in customary law, in a customary marriage, any reason can go and you'll be granted divorce. Any reason. Bamuna banga banunka mukama. Granted. Bamuna banga bagona na bombasa. Mukazi wanga gona na bomba. Granted. They do those things because it's in our customary and it's not written anywhere. Amen. So even when we are giving advice, TN teach the observe my traditional or my customary, my laws, my miambo, maybe to come miambo, yes. Miambo, then na malamulo yolembewa. Malamulo yolembewa, the laws, the statutory laws. And whether we are allowed to do what we do. Muri customary, we are allowed to pay dowry, to show that marriage has been contracted. Muri statutory marriage, all you need is just witnesses and you go and sign a paper. That's it. You don't need to even pay those monies that you purport want to pay. I bet to be corrected by the council if my memory serves me correct. But we should not confuse death na divorce. vipusana malamulo yapusana olo mu customary law traditional myambo imapusana na eve how to share properties yama deceased with children with regards to the surviving spouses and the children that are remaining. We have the law that stipulate tilina maparliamentarian vantu vanatipangira lamulo na kutitandiza na kutipasa kuti mochitira share ma properties ngati tinaivala kulemba will because vambiri semazambian not semazambian chape vambiri I think na vakwini vanaivala vamaivala kusaina ka will. Let me not bore you on that. So I wanted to just bring out that otherwise Council Mianda, you are actually very correct when you and very educative. We would love you to ponder more on utilizing the local language and talk about customary laws and the conflicts that we have between the customary laws and the statutory laws. Of course, because we are a religious country, we also bring religious laws or, beliefs. Like Catholic marriage, you can never divorce. It's not allowed to divorce. That's what they say. In perpetuity, you can marry in perpetuity, unless I don't know. So those are issues that we need you, as the legal experts, to come in and explain to the people, educate the majority, so that they know what they have at stake. And issues yameni mwakamba pa earlier yama is it elopement and marriages? Those are issues that I would love you to dwell so much on, so that the majority, an average Zambian out there knows. Because wakazi vambili banatengewa mu vikwati. Yes,
thank
please.
you so much. Hold your thought, my darling. You've got too many thoughts, so hold that one. I'll get back to you again. Because in Mzalipira Ndalama. Council, please respond to Mukelebai.
Hello?
Nancy, over to you, please.
Yes, Council, we can hear you. Please come in and get to respond to Mkelebai's concern of legal experts.
So I just want to say one thing on the property, because we're on the issue of remarry. I've heard what the other gentleman was saying. I just want to come in on the issue of marriage under Catholic. Okay, so the marriage under Catholic is not under the Act, first and foremost. It is a customary marriage. It is traditional marriage, and the jurisdiction is the local court. The people who are married under Catholic, they are given a certificate, which I remember some 2-3 years ago or 4 years ago, I was caught before the Judicial Complaint Authority for divorcing a marriage under a Catholic church. It suffice to say that I was on firm grounds before actually divorcing them. I actually went to see the administrator at Pope Square. Monica told me that it is traditional marriage and the local court has jurisdiction. However, the way the other caller stated that they said if you are married under Catholic Church, these people, when they have got a dispute, they are told to go and divorce to Catholic Church. And the administrator told me that they don't divorce them, and they shall never divorce them. And no one has ever been divorced under their own court within the Catholic Church. So, however, if they come to local court, you can proceed to divorce them. So it is customary. It's under the Act. although there was a misunderstanding. The Judicial Complaint Authority, they said it was under the Act, but I was on firm ground because there was also a letter which came from High Court authorizing the local court to divorce marriages from Catholic Church. So even when they wrote to them, they actually exonerated me that you are right to on firm ground to divorce. So I want to talk about also the issue of, you see, where I marry and I die. The law is saying if I left the house, matrimonial house, the widow has got a life interest to live in that house, save or except where she remarries. The word remarry, our topic, where she remarries. So now, what happens if a lady brings the boyfriend in that house and even 4 children, and my relatives, they bring that person before the court? Say, no, this person ana mimba mnyumba ya mwana wanga, or my uncle, my nephew. So we want her to leave this house. The issue is she cannot leave that house until they prove that it is a marriage. Because being pregnant does not mean you are on Chikwati. People will get pregnant when they're grade 12 or grade 6. So you can't say you are in Chikwati. No. So the law is saying this person will only leave that matrimonial house when she remarries. So the person who alleges, my relative, that this person, they should show that there was this marriage certificate which was given, there was this ceremony, wedding, and this person paid dowry, but not a boyfriend. So they are looking at it from a moral point of view. So morality and law do not mix. It is wrong for her to start bringing boyfriend on where I used to sleep with her. But the law allows that, because the law is saying remarry. That is not marriage. So she cannot lose that property because of having a boyfriend and even having children in my house. So that must also be borne in mind as regards property, where we're talking about remarry. So people confuse that this person, because and then no, she should leave that house. She cannot leave that house. She's protected by the law. I think Section 9 of Intestate Succession Act is talking about when this person remarries. So you should prove what is marriage. What is marriage? So does not mean you say that is marriage. No. This person has remarried. No. So she cannot lose property on that basis. So people say, no, this law is not fair. But the law is fair. It is clear. It is saying remarry until this person remarries. Even me as a man, if I'm living, my wife left the house, the law protects me that as a widower, I've got a life interest in that particular property. Meaning I have to live in that house until death. I'll only leave that house when I remarry another lady. But if I start bringing girlfriends in that house, there's no one. I'm protected by the law. So that is another issue for remarry as regards, I think, the property.
All right. Thank you so much, Council Banda. We really appreciate. At this point in time, let's get to engage our viewers that are watching us from different platforms. If you're watching us from Facebook, we have provided a link for you to join us right into the studio. Let's have a one-on-one interaction. Today, Tishimike, let's get to talk about my experiences yamenetapitamo kapena vetawo nako obviously tinaonako kuti pacha panyumba panachitikavaso kuja kunachitikavaso. Let's get to come here and get to share those particular experiences. And then if you are watching us from YouTube, we'll be glad to hear from you as well. The link has been shared as well as on Twitter. Or better still, leave a comment and we'll be glad to read that particular comment. Speaking of comments, Director, let's get to see the messages that have come through so that we can get to appreciate different people that are watching us from different places. as well as using different platforms just to get to watch this particular interview. So Josephine says, how am I coming up as the first one? Okay. Josephine says, Lance, if you paid everything you were charged by family for you to marry that lady, then that is marriage and not cohabiting. It is called traditional marriage. Thank you so much, Josephine. I think I have a question for Kaz on this one as well. Thank you so much, Josephine. Let's get to move to the next message. Caroline says, good evening, Ubuntu family, watching from Foxtel, Nsaka. Thank you so much, Caroline. Good to know that you are watching this particular broadcast. Priscilla says, I'm watching from Nola. Nice topic. Good evening. Thank you so much, Priscilla. We really appreciate you following the program. And then Mary says, did I hear that when the person who has died had properties before marriage, the property is for the acquirer of those property? Then we have a strong legal case over my brother who died. Okay, looks like council has arisen certain cases. Council, be ready to represent people in court. Let's get to another message that has come through. So Mary comes back and says, this council banda is talking good. Thank you so much, Mary. We really appreciate that you are following the program. And then let's get to move on. She comes back again and says, I wouldn't be married from certain church as they are cows. Of course.
Nice one.
Okay, Chilekwa says, great program, watching from Nsaka. Thank you so much, Chilekwa. We really appreciate you following the program. Any other message that we have? If we don't, let's get back to Council Banda right there. Or maybe before I get back to Council Banda, we have Chaza in the building. Chaza, hi, good evening. How you doing? Welcome back to Lusaka.
Thank you. Good evening. How are you doing?
Well, not bad. Surprised that today you have joined Pansaka. Welcome.
Yeah, you know, I was scheduled to be on the program, so I've been following remotely. So I just needed to signal that I'm here. You know.
Okay, great. Do you have any question, comment, or maybe you want to share a view?
Yeah, I think I'm interested in getting to hear what our guest will say concerning, you know, the ownership or devolvement of ownership of property as regards one who dies in a marriage. So, because I've seen that one of the viewers has commented to say property will actually remain with the acquirer. So, if the property was bought, for example, by a husband, then the wife dies, then it remains with the husband. I just want to hear the comment from council there.
All right. Thank you so much for your coming through. We really appreciate. Council, you may take up that question which came through from, if I'm not mistaken, it should be Mary. The issue to do with.
Okay, so I've heard that question, the last question. That's the one which I got loud and clear. That if a person dies and left property with the other spouse, the surviving spouse, what happens to that property? I think I alluded to the fact that Section 9 of the Intestate Succession Act, there are two sides of it. I may die, and like in my case, I wrote a will that in case I die, these properties should devolve to my children. Okay? So there will not be a problem if I die. Meaning they come and in some grave those who have been given a share. So they cannot trouble children. So I've taken care of that. situation where somebody did not leave any will, instructions as to how his properties should be distributed or shared, then Tested Succession Act 59 of the laws of India kicks in. Means our parliamentarians, our laws of Zambia clearly stipulate how that property should be distributed. So here's a catch. As regards the property which, for example, I left the house and my wife is the one who is living there. So she's protected by the law, according to Section 9, I believe, that has got a life interest, meaning she will live in the house until death. She will live into, saying she should change that house into her names. No, she should not change that house into her names. So she will live there as long as God keeps her. She will only leave that house when she remarries. Okay? So, she remarries, then it means the 100% she will come to the children. Okay? So, short, that house or the house which I left, it means it will devolve on the children whom I left behind. She cannot change. I think the law is very clear, and it's good in the sense that if my wife left a house and she died, then I'm the widower living in that house, and I change it into my names. Change it to my names, and I remarry. And then later you see, a new wife will say this property was for my late husband, me. Yet in reality, it was not my property, it was for my first wife. So the house cannot devolve into, it should not be changed to my names. No. The law simply allows me to live in that house as long as God keeps me. So that is how that particular property should be treated. And in case I die, then it shall devolve unto my children. In case if I did not leave any child, in case that particular daughter dies, it shall ricochet to my relatives. That's how it is.
Councillor, thank you so much.
These, for example, the widow, indeed, you say, no, I think me, I just want to get my share. So I approach my pongos or whatever, say, no, let's share, so what we share. The issue is I've got a share in that particular property. The law allows that particular share according to Section 5 when tested succession. So it has already stipulated how I will get those shares. The calculation, that's how they are. They are there in Section 5 of the Intestate Succession Act. So there's no much of a problem in that regard.
Okay, thank you so much, Council. As we are going towards the end of the program, I would kumipempa nzapempa nkuti mutiuze kuna ma percentages. Okay, general percentage when there's a death that has occurred in whichever of the deceased. What is the percentage?
Okay, so go to the question. So let me just quickly go through that. Section 5 stipulates how those percentages should be. If, for argument's sake, I die, and say I was working for Bank of Zambia, and I've left, estates. Now, estates, you should know that estate does not mean only a house, a farm. It also includes debts and liabilities. So I owe a neighbor 10,000 kwacha. I got a loan from the bank, 50,000 kwacha. All that put together called the estate. So the starting point is that from all the estates, we have to pay the debts first before we distribute to the beneficiaries. Okay? That's why you would find that a person, the law says any person who has got an interest can become an administrator. Any person who has got an interest. So the interest is, Mr. Banda used to owe me 1 billion. So it doesn't mean that my relatives or my children should become administrators. No. Any person who has got an interest, even a neighbor can become an administrator because he has got interest. I bought a child from them. So he's his interest is over that child, so he can become an administrator. So now the issue is the administrator has to pay debts first before distributing to the intended beneficiaries. So Kongole balipirire tuzonse, then manji zaneza salama assets ndiye amene bakamba kuti ati je bagale. So the way they will share is 20% will go to the widow, 20% will go to the parents if at all those parents are there of the deceased. 10% will go to the dependent, and 50% will go to the children if at all there were children there. Okay, so this is how it is. If at all my parents died, I just left the widow and the children, so it means the widow get 35%, the children get 65%. This is what is there in the Intestate Succession Act. If at all there is only the parents and the children, it means the parents will get 30%, the children will get 70%. If at all there is only the children, my parents died, there's no dependent, no widow or widower, then 100% will go to the children. If at all the children are not there, not even my cousin survives, there's no near relative, then that estate, no parents, no widow, no widower, no children, no grandchildren or great-grandchildren, then that property ricochets to the state. We call it bona vacante. If you go to Chaisa, Bering's flats, which has been taken over by the state, and the police officers were staying there, so that is bona vacante. So there is no any person who claimed that Mr. Bering was my uncle, or Mr. Bering was my grandfather. So those flats in Chaisa, the Bering flats where the police officers are staying, it ricocheted to the state. It's the state which will benefit 100%. So the police officers now are staying there. So that's how the share of these properties is done. Thank you.
The last question before I bring in my colleagues, counsel. At what age is somebody allowed to administer over the properties of a deceased?
When he has reached the age of majority, I believe when this person has reached the age of 16 to 18. 16 years, you get the NRC. 16 to 18, you can administer that property.
Okay.
You reach 18 because you have reached the age of majority. So you can become an administrator. You can administer.
Okay. Thank you so much, counsel. Thank you so much, counsel. So, in conclusion, ala Pansaka pano tuisamkuja mukusambirisha nyako mujitonga twakati mano mabulwan.
Thank you. No, na Kondwela Maningi, thank you for also participating in this new program. It's a very interesting program, and really liked the deliberations. Thank you very much. Good night.
So council has left. My computer played up. I don't know what happened. It just went black. Anyway, thank you so much. In our conclusion remarks, because the guest has already left us, Varuth, what is your conclusion remarks as we conclude the program?
I feel we have a lot to learn. Council has given us a number of things that many of us would want to overlook in terms when you are remarrying, and why certain people face challenges when a partner dies. And all these things are given in because they are coming in, and sometimes you may not handle them well because you did not take time to learn or to find out what may happen. because usually, just like Womkeleba had mentioned, most of us Africans, we live like we are going to live forever here on earth. But it's important to take things into consideration, and especially with the mushrooming of churches everywhere. I feel some marriages are not marriages at all, just because they laid hands on you and pronounced a husband and wife. Then you go home celebrating that Satakwatirana. Kanshi, in the land of the nation, marriage there is no. So it's important not to just get excited when you want to remarry, but get the right information and do the right things to protect yourself, your property, and your children as well. Thank you.
Mulelanda kunefitundu ifeta tumfe chisungu ichicho mulelanda kumutampile. Chaza, over to you.
I will.
Chaza, your conclusion remarks. Conclude.
Yeah, it's been a great program, and I'm so well fortified by the submissions. There's a lot that comes out from this program. I think it's definitely a program not to miss. And thank you so much to all the participants, all those that have come through on the program.
Thank you. Lance?
Okay, so it was a good program. Thanks a lot to the panelists.
Turn around and then in 100 meters.
Thank you so much, Lance. Womkelewai.
Thanks.